So the next data structure we're going to talk about with Python is dictionaries. Okay, so dictionaries are a little bit different from what we've covered before. So they are unordered collections, but this time they're of key value pairs. Okay, so you associate some key with some value rather than with a numerical index. Okay, so in other places they're known as either associative arrays. They associate one thing with another thing, not necessarily numbers, or they're called maps in C++. Okay, and they use curly braces. The curly braces are not unique. We're going to get the sets in a minute, which also use curly braces, but it's this format with the colon with the pairs that sets it apart. Okay, so in line 5 here, I'm declaring state capitals to be an empty dictionary. Okay, and then as I'm going through, and if I'm specifying all at once, I have the key value pairs. Okay, so the key goes first. Okay, so the value of the dictionary for Kentucky is Frankfurt, and for Virginia is Richmond. Okay, so it's the term definition is kind of the way to think of things. Okay, so you often will see strings for both. You may see numbers for different areas. Sorry, my dog is barking for some reason. You can use a tuple for the key if you wanted. Okay, so we could have the key value pairs here. Okay, like the brands of refrigerators are associated. This key is associated with this product. Those kinds of things, which can happen sometimes, but you couldn't do a list that way. So a list as the key would give an error. Okay, but the list can be values. So here we have fruits with a list associated with the fruit and so forth. Okay, and these are a little weird constructions. You don't use those a lot, just to say that they can happen. Okay, one thing that's important is the key has to be unique. So going back to state capitals, if I try to add another key, Kentucky, with some other city, okay, then it's not going to give me an error. It's just going to replace what I've got. Okay, so there's only one possible key for Kentucky. Okay, for any value. Okay, you can't have multiple values though. That should be okay. Okay, so if we print out state capital, again, it works. You put in the key, it returns the value. You put in Kentucky, you get Frankfurt. Put in Virginia, you get Richmond. Okay. If you want to add a new value to this, there's no function in particular for it. You just create it. You say the state capital of Tennessee is Nashville. The state capital of Texas is Austin. Whatever you're going to do. Okay. Add as many as you want. Okay. So like all the other sequences we talked about, you can iterate through this. Okay. But it iterates on the key. You have to put in the value based on the dictionary name. Okay, so for example, I can say for key and state capitals, key will refer to Kentucky and then Virginia, then whatever, okay, Tennessee, since I've added that at this point. But to refer to the value, I have to put in state capital index to key. Okay, so this will say that, first, first may be a misnomer. It's unordered. So just because I put in Kentucky, then Virginia, then Tennessee, they may stay in that order, they may not. You can't guarantee that. Okay, but it will put the first one that it finds, the value first, since I'm doing state capitals key, and then the key. Okay. You can delete either with the delete keyword. So you can delete state capital, again, based on the key, state capital Tennessee. There's also a pop and a pop item. The difference being the pop takes a value. You pop Nashville. Okay. The pop item just takes the last item and returns and deletes it like pops always do. Okay. Some other things that you have, there's this weird structure that dictionaries create called dictionary view objects. And you can do some things with that, but we won't get into that. It's more than we care about right now. But there's a keys function or keys method and a values method, and it just returns the dictionary view of those things. And we'll see that here in a second. Okay. What you can do with these dictionary views is that you can turn them into a list with the list constructor function, and then you can then get to those, okay, either the values or the list. Okay, so let's run this so we can see what it looks like. And you see here, yeah, here's where that's the wrong run. I really like PyCharm, but the run is weird that you have to tell it I want to run dictionaries. There we go. Not sets. There we go. Okay, so there we have the different states. Okay. And again, when I do the values here, that comes back as this dictionary value type. Okay. I then converted that into a list if I want to do that. Okay. And these are mutable. You can change them if you want to. All that's okay. It still supports the in, not in. You can see if it's in the dictionary or if it's not. Okay. So dictionaries turn out to be pretty useful. It's good that we can have these key value pairs. A lot of times that's the way the world works. So we'll be using these in some examples for sure. Okay. So one more video up, that'll be on sets. That'll get us through the major data structures.